Hey everyone. So today we're going to talk about phrases and clauses. So first things first, what is a phrase? A phrase is a group of words that stick together and act like a single part of speech. So it could be a noun, an adjective, an adverb, or even a preposition, but it's missing one key ingredient to not be a sentence. It's missing a subject doing an action through a verb. So that's right. A phrase is kind of like a sentence without a main character. So before we jump deeper, let's do a quick review of some of the important words. A noun is a person, place, or thing, like a dog, Paris, France, a book. These are nouns. Adjectives describe nouns. They add a little flavor to the nouns. They talk about how something looks, feels, or smells. Words like happy, blue, green, tall, fat, thin, delicious. These are all adjectives. An adverb is like an adjective, but instead of describing a noun, it's describing a verb, an action. So it tells the way we do something, tells how it happens. Words like beautifully, quickly, well, loudly. These are adverbs. They describe the actions. Preposition. These show direction, location, or time. They're basically a map to your sentence. They tell when or where something happens. Words like in, on, under, after, before. These are all prepositions. And our last review, a subject of a sentence is basically the main character of that sentence. It's who or what is doing the action. Example, the cat sleeps. The cat is the subject. Sleeps is the verb. All right, so now that we have that out of the way, let's look at some fun examples of phrases. They help connect words and make sentences more interesting. So first type of phrase we have is a noun phrase. So a group of words acting like a noun. Example, eating ice cream on a hot day is my favorite summer activity. So this whole phrase is acting as a noun. It's the subject of the sentence. Eating ice cream on a hot day. That is the subject. Now a group of words acting as an adjective. The cat with the fluffy tail loves to nap in the sun. So the phrase with the fluffy tail describes the cat. So it's acting as an adjective. Phrase can be a group of words acting like an adverb. He danced with so much energy that everyone cheered. The phrase with so much energy tells how he danced, so it acts as an adverb. Last one, group of words acting like a preposition. We sat under the big oak tree and told stories. The phrase under the big oak tree shows where we sat, so it's acting as a preposition. So now that we have phrases done, let's look at the other half of this video, clauses. A clause is also like a mini sentence, but opposite of the phrase, a clause always has a subject and a verb. That's what makes it different than the phrase. Phrase, no subject acting through a verb. A clause has a subject acting through a verb. Example, in the nick of time. There's no verb here. This is a phrase. Before the summer ended. The summer is ending. So the summer is the subject. Ending is the verb, what it's doing. So there's a subject and a verb. It's a clause. Clauses come in two main flavors: independent clause and dependent clause. So an independent clause can stand alone and be its own sentence. It can be a full idea. So an example, I went to the bonfire after the game. I went to the bonfire can stand alone. It's an independent clause. After the game, that cannot be its own sentence. So that's a dependent clause. As a dependent clause needs more information to be a full idea, to make a full sentence. By itself, it does not tell you the proper amount of information. So, using the same example, I went to the bonfire after the game. If you take out that first section, I went to the bonfire, now after the game doesn't tell you any meaningful information. What happened after the game, you don't know. So this is a dependent clause. Now, much like phrases, dependent clauses can act like different parts of speech. We can have a noun clause, an adjective clause, an adverb clause. So the same as we talked about with the phrases, a noun clause acts as a noun. I don't know why he did that. Why he did that is acting as the noun in this clause. An adjective clause acts like an adjective. He really loved the jacket that she sold him. That she sold him is describing the jacket, so it acts as an adjective. Adverb clause acts like an adverb. All the kids tried to eat their ice cream before it melted in the hot sun. Before it melted in the hot sun acts as an adverb, so this is an adverb clause. All right, so now you know the difference between phrases and clauses. Remember, a phrase is missing a subject-verb combo, while a clause always has a subject and a verb. Keep practicing, and soon you'll master these grammar building blocks. One more thing we're going to add is something called misplaced modifiers. So a misplaced modifier is a phrase or a clause in the wrong place. So no one knows what the phrase or clause is supposed to modify. Here's an example. Greta smelled the meatloaf coming into the house for dinner. The meatloaf was coming in the door. So, how to fix it? Make sure modifiers are close to what they are modifying and not near anything else they might modify, so no one gets confused. Coming into the house for dinner, Greta smelled the meatloaf. Greta is the subject coming into the house, so the phrase should be closer to her than to the meatloaf. Now it's too far from the meatloaf for anyone to get confused. We also have dangling modifiers. A dangling modifier is a phrase or clause that modifies something that is not even in the sentence. Again, no one has a clue what the phrase or clause is supposed to modify. Here's an example. Excited about the first game of the season, Javi's hockey skates sat in the front hall ready to be worn. So in this sentence, you can see the hockey skates can't be excited. So how to fix this one? Make sure the thing a phrase modifies is actually in the sentence. Excited about the first game of the season, Javi kept his hockey skates in the front hall ready to be worn. Because Javi's skates can't be excited, but Javi can. So that should be most of the things you need to know about phrases, clauses, misplaced modifiers, and dangling modifiers. Thanks for watching. I'm going to put a little quiz at the end here. See if you can answer all the questions correctly. I will put the answers down in my description. So pause it on these questions, try them out, and then check your answers down below. Have a great day, guys.